Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Nerds Light Podcast. We host JayRow
and Crump Casso.
Welcome. We got Marcus back in the building with us today. What's going on, sir?
Welcome back, sir.
Hey, thank you, gentlemen, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Always happy to have you, sir. So we're going to do an episode today about the most recent sequel to the Black Panther franchise, Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
So, to not be a rude host, I want our guest to start. So, Marcus, what did you overall think of the movie?
Well, so a flood of emotions, sadness, anger, indignation, shock, disbelief, relief. So many things happened during the span of the movie. No tears from me, but my wife definitely cried at a few points in the movie.
Yeah.
And I can see how that would be possible. But yeah, that movie, it's crazy how cathartic it felt at the end.
Mm. Why did you use that word?
What, are we doing spoilers?
Yeah. This is spoilers. Yeah, by all means.
So as far as why you use the word cathartic, one, because I read, also because it was one of those things that when I watched that movie, I think about how I felt before the movie. Mm-hmm. My stance on why I felt like T'Challa should have been recast, and there are a laundry list of reasons why we felt that way, why I felt that way. But after I watched the movie, before I watched the movie, I thought, this is not about me. This movie's not about how I feel. Mm-hmm. I'm not the one directing it. I'm not the one acting in it. Yeah. So I got to move myself from my perspective, because I know how I feel about it, but I need to see it from someone else's lens. And I thought, well, if I'm the director and my guy just passed away, Ryan Coogler's only directed like maybe 5 to 7 films, somewhere in that range. So he hasn't done a lot of directing, but his movies have been phenomenal.
Absolutely.
So when I watched that film, I was like, wow, this is how he's gonna grieve. This is how he's gonna, grieve in front of the world, because that's what he would have to do as a director. Right? Show the world what Chadwick Boseman meant to him and what T'Challa meant to the world of Wakanda and the MCU as a whole. He has to show all that to us while still advancing the narrative, while still advancing the MCU. That's a tall task for anybody. He definitely excelled. He added more characters, expanded the Marvel universe. He just did so much in that short time. I wanted the movie to keep going.
What about you, Crump?
That's a very interesting take. I didn't really consider the Ryan Coogler kind of angle. That's actually a really interesting take I hadn't thought about, and I think I agree with everything Marcus said. Overall, I liked the film a lot. I liked it a lot. I didn't. Okay, random. I guess fact about me. Whenever I'm looking forward to a movie or I think it's gonna be good, I ignore and avoid all trailers because I don't want anything to ruin it for me. So the only thing I saw was the very first initial trailer that they put out back a few months back. Mm-hmm. And after that, I didn't see any more. After that, I've just seen so many movies where they ruin some of the best parts of the movie by putting it in the trailer, and I think that's stupid. Yeah. So I didn't really know what to expect. I just know, like I said, all I had to go by was that very first initial trailer. Where they didn't show the Black Panther at all. They showed the claw at the end of the trailer. So I was kind of I won't say walking in blind. I kind of knew just based off that trailer. I was like, man, this is a really big Wakanda movie and not so much a Black Panther movie. And I guess that's why they named it Wakanda Forever. But I still really enjoyed it. I just thought it was a really good movie. I'm not a big comic book head, so pretty much all my knowledge comes from cartoons and previous movies I've seen, and a lot of my knowledge comes from just doing my own research, just looking up stuff on the internet, and video games. So I could understand why some people might have issues with Namor and a few other things, like small things not being necessarily direct how the
Accurate.
comics book.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, accurate. Like the whole Atlantis thing kind of did bother me because I know Namor's from like Atlantis, and they switched it up in the movie. That kind of bothered me a little bit, but not enough for me to like not enjoy the movie. I thought it was a really good movie. Not sure how I feel about Shuri being Black Panther necessarily, but I think she did a good job in the movie as Black Panther. But I don't want to see like a whole like 2-hour film of her being Black Panther. That makes sense. I think it worked for the way she played it in the movie, for that small amount. But overall, I mean, I could go into more detail, but overall, I thought it was a really good film. I liked it. I really like what they did with it. I like that the antagonist, if you can call Namor that, and the contrary like opposition that they had, where they kind of both doing what they had to do for their own, like not necessarily a villain, but he's doing what he has to do for his own community, and I like that. I thought it was really well done. A really well done movie. Of course, I had my little things again here and there, like the Atlantis thing, and just Shuri being a warrior all of a sudden out of nowhere kind of bothered me a little bit. But I feel like she didn't fight like the rest of people did. I feel like she had the experience. But overall, I thought it was a really good movie. Like I'd watch it again. I thought it was a really good film.
Yeah,
I
do agree with you when you said that they made Namor a very sympathetic villain. Well, I wouldn't even call him a villain. I feel like they made him very sympathetic to like the stuff that he had issues with, compared to his issues with Wakanda as well as his issues with the surface world.
Right.
So, but yeah, he was very sympathetic in that regards. I do kind of lean towards what you said about. I don't know how I feel about Shuri donning the mantle of Black Panther so quickly and not having the combat experience to take on a name more believably.
Right. Yeah.
I do think the movie, after careful consideration and deliberation outside of this recorded, I do think that begrudgingly, I agree that it's going in the right direction. I do think that it's not, and I do agree with what Marcus said. I have to myself not take it as personally, because I was taking it personally because of the fact that T'Challa they didn't recast the role. I felt like they were doing us a disservice. And when I mean us, I mean African American males, because we don't have enough of us on the movie screen, and we don't have that figure that young boys can look up to in the movie theater. I do feel like I still agree that's a missing element that will be until that void is filled.
Yeah.
However, I can say that we do have a movie that we can rally behind, because I do think this movie transcended that. I do think that and I think you said it, it's a Wakanda movie. It's not about, it's not so much about the Black Panther, but it is about the Black Panther.
Right. Yeah.
But it's also about the people of Wakanda.
Yeah.
The people, how they rally behind grief, and how they rally behind each other to build themselves up past tragedy, to show strength and to show growth, to show perseverance through difficult times. So I begrudgingly say that because like it's not like, trust me, it wasn't my initial opinion, because I went into the movie full of anguish and upset and hate. So like, because I was just upset, I was very disappointed. But I will say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone after this. When I saw the ending of the movie, when the post-credit scene, when Shuri was burning her funeral garb, and when they showed the montage of T'Challa, Chadwick's character, all that stuff, it got me emotional, and I was a little like, I was like, damn, man, this dude is gone, really gone,
Yeah.
really gone. So much he could have done, so much he could have done. But then what made me like even more sad was when I saw his son. And it wasn't a negative sad, it was just a kind of just like I guess an acceptance kind of sad.
Yeah.
Just like, I had a feeling they were going to pull that route, to have a son, and so people can just say, oh, he's going to become the new Black Panther. And I just chuckled and smiled when I saw the kid talk. He has so much youthful innocence, and I just like how they said they prepared him for the loss of his father and his baba, and and just prepare, like he just seems so full of life. And I just like the fact that he grew up outside of Wakanda,
Yeah.
so he's not burdened by he can look at the world as a whole instead of looking at what's going on in Wakanda.
Yeah.
So when he jumps in to be king, he has the backing. He has the knowledge to help his people, but he also has the knowledge and the compassion to help the world.
Yeah. I agree with you. I want to circle back to something. It's a double standard that I have observed that I'm not sure why it exists. I won't pretend like I know, but it's a double standard that I've noticed. During the original Avengers movie, if you guys remember that. Okay. Did we question any of the superheroes there? Like, why was anybody in that scene? Do we question why the Hulk was there?
No.
Do we question why Black Widow or Hawkeye was there?
No.
What about Thor?
No.
What about Captain America: Civil War? During that film, do we question why any of the characters were there and what they were doing?
No.
Okay.
Well, I kind of did. I had questions about some of the characters. I won't lie about that.
And at no point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe have we ever questioned Tony Stark's transformation from this billionaire, drunken playboy who makes the worst choices known to man when it comes to his personal life. From his transformation, his evolution from that to this suit building parent genius, this child prodigy, who can all of a sudden take Thanos one-on-one. We didn't question that. Right? We just followed along with it. And Jerome, the irony of me proposing this argument here is just mind-blowing to me too. But we're going to not question him, but we're going to question Shuri, who has grown up in the kingdom of Wakanda, who has access to the best training a person could possibly have, like I'm sure Chadwick Boseman character, right? Like T'Challa had the best training he could possibly have. What he might assume the mantle of Black Panther and the king of Wakanda. Wouldn't it make sense his sister would also be the recipient of all that stuff too?
It does, but I'm gonna challenge it. The only reason I'm gonna challenge it is because remember, she's not about tradition. She wasn't about training and stuff. She was about the technology pieces of everything. She focused more on that side of things. She didn't care so much about the training, the tradition of Wakanda. She wanted to help the country grow through technology means. That was her place. That's what she wanted to do. No one's saying that she couldn't protect herself. That's not what we're saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you're looking at Shuri, who she's like 16, 18, compared to a 1,000-year-old warrior. 1,000 years old. That's what I'm saying.
How old do you think Thanos is?
I don't know. Seems like he probably is maybe around the same age, something like that.
Probably older than Namor. Probably older than him.
Yeah.
And thus has a ton of more combat experience. You saw what he did.
But that also, listen, that also is a negative to your argument, because as we remember, how me and you, we both disagree. I mean, we both agreed on how disrespectful they treated T'Challa against Thanos when Thanos slapped him, and that was the end of him, the whole fight.
Yeah, I agree. And I stand on that. I'm not gonna back down from that point. I think that's a testament to how the Russo brothers dismissed the Black Panther character. And just to reiterate that point for anybody who might be watching, Steve Rogers gets hit, he goes to the ground, bounces back up. He even manages to resist Thanos' hand with all the Infinity Stones in it. And then he gets smacked and he goes back down again.
And also keep in mind, T'Challa is physically stronger than Captain America.
Now, I haven't read all the comic books, so I won't pretend like I know, but I'll take your word for it. But my point is that Tony Stark went from being in a cave and building a suit, having not had any combat experience in his life, to all of a sudden being this guy that's fighting Thanos, who's been around for, who also dismantled the Hulk like he was like just some minor inconvenience in his life. He took care of him like a flat tire, like it wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
But so I'm saying if we can suspend our beliefs that Tony Stark can all of a sudden gain all these fighting abilities, same thing with Peter Parker as well. Peter Parker in every single Spider-Man universe, same thing. He goes from being this bum-ass high school kid with all these superpowers, and this nice dude who still can't get right.
Yeah.
like we can suspend our beliefs with these guys because of Shuri. Oh no, she's too young. She can't do this. Oh, she doesn't have the combat experience. Oh no, where did she get this from? Look, the wealthiest nation in the world, best training, most advanced technology. We could just assume that she probably has some training, even though she's a child that scoffs at tradition. She probably did, have to bend the knee at some point.
That's a very good point.
I can see that.
Yeah, and I think that Spider-Man example is a really good example. But even better than the Iron Man example. The Spider-Man example is a really good example.
I agree.
That's a really good point.
I'm highlighting our own biases because I know we have one.
Yeah.
And that's what I think about until I was listening to Jordan say it. I was like, wow, why did I reject the notion of Shuri having combat experience?
Yeah.
It makes sense that she would have it. So why not reject? I don't know. Even Queen Ramonda, she was ready to go toe-to-toe with
Namor.
She was ready to go toe-to-toe with him. I'm not a woman that repeats herself, that enjoys repeating herself. Like we started with the spear in her hand. She was ready to go.
Yeah.
Speaking of Queen Ramonda, what did you think of her role in this movie?
Academy Award winning.
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I hope this is finally the chance that Angela Bassett has to get that award that has eluded her in her career.
It was a great performance, amazing performance.
Man, when I saw her, when I watched her in that movie, I gotta tell y'all, that was when she died. I remember saying out loud, I'm always silent in movies here, but when I saw her, that scene when she's on the water, I found myself saying, no way. And obviously they tried to revive her and unsuccessful, and I felt like I lost somebody that I knew.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too. I think about it like it's grief. Like it was like that final push that Shuri needed to just get past what she was feeling. And also like guest star and cameo appearance by Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger to like help further that push along. So yeah, man, she had so much rage going into that fight with Namor, like because of the loss of her mother as well as Killmonger's beliefs that she adopted.
Right.
And isn't it beautiful movie how grief manifested itself?
Yeah.
We were here to sadness to confusion, right? Looking for guidance from somebody. This mad clamor to find the new king of Wakanda. Who's gonna be the Black Panther? Who's gonna protect us? Just so many different pieces. If you remember at the beginning of the movie, Queen Ramonda was gonna tell Shuri about her nephew, but interrupted them. But if you remember before that part, she was trying to get her to burn the funeral garb, his garb with her. And I think she said something along the lines of, when you burn this, you'll see T'Challa. Fast forward to the end of the movie, She saw T'Challa.
She
Not-
did.
Uh,
But
Not
it was
T'Challa. Yeah.
it's T'Challa.
hmm That's how she was able to overcome her grief, was because of seeing the nephew. Seeing her grandson, excuse me.
Yeah, man, that was this movie, you guys. Ryan Coogler is. We don't deserve this guy. We don't deserve him. We don't.
And let's also give a shout out to the Riri Williams too, because she was a scene stealer.
I enjoyed her. I enjoyed her in the movie. I really. She was a breath. Like what's the brother's name? M'Baku, like him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
he was great counsel this movie.
He really was.
Those two did a great job of injecting in each scene what they needed to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And just, man, the Marvel Universe doesn't deserve Ryan Coogler. Really, he's only had a few directing projects in his whole life. He hasn't really done much on the scale. But you got guys out there getting chance after chance, like James Gunn. Who the hell is he? Like, come on, man. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I loved Riri's performance, and I love the fact that she was someone like we were kind of looking at all this stuff through her eyes, and it was also believable in regards that she grew. She grew throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to her Disney Plus series coming soon.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, doing a Disney Plus series next year.
Wow.
Looking forward to seeing Ironheart. I want to just touch on something else that Jordan said too. And I think maybe you did as well, Drew. I can't remember which one you guys said it, but something about making the villains more empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easier to empathize with ideologies over actions.
Yeah.
Like, if you remember in Avengers Infinity War, we knew why Thanos wanted to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He wanted to kind of save the universe.
Yeah.
But in Avengers Endgame, he was just a mad titan.
Yeah.
That guy,
Oh yeah.
he was out for blood. He didn't really care who got it. He wanted to recreate the universe atom by atom. Like you can't relate to somebody that wants to do that, because then nobody else has a chance. You're just trying to be mean.
Right.
Yeah. Black Panther always had the most relatable villains, like Killmonger and also Namor. So they did have the most like ones that you can kind of understand where they were coming from. Yeah. You said you didn't agree with their approach, but you agree with their the struggle.
Yeah, the mindset. Yeah.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. The ideologies. You know, like as a Black person living in America, we all know that this is hell. It wasn't that long ago that Black people got the right to attend desegregated schools. Look at James Meredith, 1954. The Brown versus Board of Education was decided here in the U.S. My mother was born 10 years after that, so she was fortunate enough to be born in a country that had officially desegregated schools. Yeah. But in actual practice, were they desegregated? Most likely not. James Meredith was the first Black man to attend a college that was desegregated in 1950s. He entered that, and he was isolated. They didn't, just because the law, just because the court said, okay, you guys desegregate, doesn't mean that it was permitted. And the reason why I bring that up is because ideologies, right? You can believe in the idea of something, and like Joe said, not agree with the implementation of the actions needed to get to that point. We didn't agree. I agree with Killmonger's theory that people around the world should be helped. They've been persecuted and unfairly oppressed and whatnot. They've been colonized to death.
Yeah.
But his approach would have anybody that disagreed with him slaughtered, even if they were Black. He killed a Black woman at the beginning of the movie. He led to her death.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we knew right off the bat, he was talking all that pro-Black stuff, but he wasn't really.
Nah.
He
just had rage, man. He had rage in him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So even with Namor, like he wanted to kill all the surface dwellers. Yeah. Okay, that's not really fair. Like what? That's not how you're gonna go about saving. You're gonna end up causing more harm to your people, than good.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Like that really kind of hammered it home on how powerful this movie was. And well, this movie plus the franchise. Um, is there anything we want to add before we close out? Like, I guess from all three of us, we're definitely saying it's a thumbs up movie. Like,
Sure.
yeah, that, and it's definitely a rewatchable movie.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
There is one more thing that I'm not contradicting myself.
hey,
Uh,
we gotta hold that thought for, so we're gonna have to pick it up on a part 2. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Click like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Peace.